There's a fantastic book, and when I'm king of the world, I'm going to make it mandatory reading for everyone. It's called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Anyone here read that? Yeah? I highly recommend it. Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers. He talks about the difference between people who fail and succeed in anything. And he talks about how in wealthy families, they teach their children something very different to what is taught in middle class and poorer families. And it's just how to interact with authority. The middle classes and poorer people are taught to fear authority. And it's industrial revolution thinking. You've got to fear the guy who runs the factory because he owns your life. Okay? And it goes like this. Let's take a practical example. They do this one in the book. He says, you're taking your child to the dentist. The middle class family will teach the child that the dentist is God. He has studied for 8 years and he knows everything there is to know. You as the child must shut up, sit down, keep quiet, and even if it hurts, don't cry. Just wait for it to be over. Do whatever he tells you to do. Now in wealthy families, they approach the exact same situation completely differently. Driving to the dentist's office, they tell the child, the dentist is your friend. He has studied for 8 years so that he can serve you properly. How's that? Okay? The dentist is a resource that you can use. If you have any questions about your mouth, about your teeth, about anything that you want to know there, you must ask the dentist because it's his job to help you. Now take that kind of thinking, that's a simple example, going to the dentist. Take that kind of thinking and amplify it over the next 20 years. Which of those two kids is going to do well in life? You've got one who's taught to fear authority, shut up, keep your voice down, don't make waves, and the other one who's taught the world is there for you to utilize. It's all resources. You can use it to your own ends. Imagine the difference that would make. Represent yourself, and we need to teach our children to represent themselves as well. We have been conned into an industrial revolution myth that says authority is in charge and knows best. You must shut up and do what you're told. You must be a cog in a system. And as long as you are doing your job perfectly and not making waves, you'll be fine. That thinking is 100 years outdated. We cannot teach it any longer. Inspired ideas. This is one of my favorites. As you go about building your career, there are the things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis that slowly, gradually move you up that curve toward wealth. And if you keep doing them slowly and consistently and gradually every single day, ultimately your life is going to improve. And you must do those things. However, from time to time, we get that one inspired idea, that crazy thought, that thing that pops into our heads and we go, what if? And it's those ideas which in one go can add an extra zero to your income. You must have them, you must act on them. I'll give you a simple practical example. In 2006, I had a book published on public speaking, and it went through a traditional publisher in Cape Town. It went into the bookstores and sold for about 150 Rand a book, of which I got 8 Rand 75. That's how much the author actually gets. Still, I was really chuffed to have this book published, and it's a bit of credibility for me as a speaker, and it did bring in some money. Now, one of my professional speaker friends said, Doug, don't do it that way. The next time you write a book, publish it yourself. You pay for the printing, you pay for everything, and sure, it's a bit of money up front, but after that, you can sell the book at a complete profit. And I had this inspired idea. I thought, wait a minute, what if you took that one step further? What if you got somebody else to pay for the book? So I literally walked in the front door of one of my biggest clients, Old Mutual, Fairbairn Capital, and I spoke to one of the directors and I said, how do you feel about giving me 150,000 Rand? 2 minutes later, after he'd said yes, we were discussing his next yachting holiday. I took the chance, I tried, and it worked. He paid for 1,000 copies of 2 separate books, and I've been selling them ever since. No money down. Every book that I sell is pure profit margin. You're starting to see how thinking differently means different levels of income? You can get a salary at the end of the month, or you can do things for yourself and generate your own income with inspired ideas. Now that's just a small one, but that brought in, firstly, it meant I didn't have to pay 150,000 Rand, and then beyond that, it meant something like 500,000 Rands worth of book sales over the years. And that's just one small thing that made a massive impact on my life. But I had to represent myself, I had to have the idea, I had to walk through the door and just have the gumption to try, to ask, to not be a cog in a system that just does its function perfectly, to be a human being with a face and a voice and thoughts, creative ideas and an opinion. And that can change the scale of your income.